The Art of War by Sun Tzu or Sunzi. Introduction. The Art of War is an ancient Chinese military treatise attributed to Sun Tzu, a strategist and philosopher who lived during the Eastern Zhou period, around the 5th century BCE. Comprising 13 chapters, the book is a foundational text in both military strategy and philosophical thinking, influencing not only warfare, but also modern fields like business, leadership, negotiation, and sports. The themes of this audiobook is strategy over strength, knowledge is power, adaptability and flexibility, deception and perception, efficiency and timing. Now, start the journey of this audiobook and let's discuss all 13 chapters of Sun Tzu.
Chapter 1. Laying Plans. Laying plans, initial estimations, focuses on the idea that every victory begins with thorough planning and understanding before any action is taken. Sun Tzu emphasizes that a leader must never rush into conflict blindly. Instead, they should evaluate all conditions carefully to determine whether success is possible. He identifies 5 key factors that influence the outcome of any battle. Moral law, the unity and shared purpose between the leader and the people. When soldiers trust and respect their leader, they fight with loyalty and courage. Heaven, weather, the external conditions such as time, seasons, and natural forces that can affect strategy and timing. Earth, terrain, the physical environment, including distance, landscape, and accessibility, which can offer either advantage or disadvantage. The commander, leadership, the leader's wisdom, integrity, courage, and ability to inspire confidence and discipline. Method and discipline, the organization of the army, proper communication, resource management, and clear command structure. By comparing these elements between one's own forces and the enemy's, a general can calculate advantage, deciding when to fight, when to wait, and how to position forces for success. Sun Tzu teaches that war is not just about strength or courage, but about knowledge, foresight, and preparation. Those who plan carefully and think ahead can foresee problems before they arise and act with precision when the time is right. In essence, this chapter teaches that strategy is the foundation of victory. A leader who studies every factor, understands both their own abilities and those of their opponent, and makes decisions based on logic rather than impulse will almost always succeed, while those who act without planning will face defeat.
Chapter 2. Waging War. Waging war teaches that war should never be entered lightly or fought for too long. Sun Tzu explains that prolonged warfare weakens a nation by draining its resources, manpower, and morale. The longer a conflict lasts, the more it exhausts soldiers, depletes supplies, and burdens the people who support the army. Therefore, a wise leader must aim for quick and decisive victories, rather than getting trapped in drawn-out battles. Sun Tzu emphasizes that successful warfare depends on efficiency and precision, striking fast, using minimal resources, and achieving the greatest effect with the least effort. Every action should serve a clear purpose, and no energy or supply should be wasted. He also highlights the economic side of war, warning that a country must remain strong and sustainable even during conflict. If too much wealth, time, or energy is spent, victory will come at too great a cost, leaving the nation weak and unstable afterward. In short, Sun Tzu reminds us that true strategy balances power with prudence. The goal of war is not endless fighting, but to secure peace and stability through intelligent, well-planned actions. Victory is meaningful only when it is achieved swiftly, efficiently, and without destroying the very foundation one seeks to protect. Chapter 3. Attack by Stratagem. Attack by stratagem focuses on the idea that the greatest victory is one achieved without battle. Sun Tzu teaches that the most skilled leader wins, not through bloodshed, but through strategy, intelligence, and psychological insight. The highest form of warfare is to defeat the enemy's plans and intentions before they can even take shape. This means understanding how the opponent thinks, anticipating their moves, and breaking their confidence or alliances so that a physical fight becomes unnecessary. Sun Tzu explains that destroying the enemy's strategy or will to fight is far superior to destroying their army. Capturing the enemy's resources, territory, and people intact is better than wasting them in conflict. This approach reflects not only wisdom, but also compassion and foresight, as it avoids unnecessary loss of life and damage. He encourages leaders to use psychological and diplomatic tactics, such as negotiation, deception, alliances, and persuasion, to weaken the enemy's position from within. In essence, this chapter teaches that true mastery in warfare lies in the mind, not the battlefield. A wise leader uses intelligence, patience, and strategy to win before swords are drawn. By conquering through understanding and planning rather than destruction, one achieves lasting victory with minimal cost.
Chapter 4, Tactical Dispositions, explains how wise leaders prepare and position themselves so they cannot be defeated, then wait for the right moment to act. Sun Tzu teaches that strength comes from making your own situation secure, creating invincibility, while patiently watching for your opponent's mistakes or exposed weaknesses. Instead of chasing glory by attacking recklessly, a skilled commander arranges forces, defenses, and logistics so that defeat is impossible under current conditions. Only when the enemy shows vulnerability should action be taken. This chapter emphasizes two linked ideas: defense through preparation and offense through timing. Preparation means choosing strong ground, organizing supply lines, ensuring communications and discipline, and masking your real intentions so the enemy can't find an opening. Positioning means placing troops and resources where they maximize advantage and minimize risk, controlling choke points, securing retreat routes, and denying the opponent favorable terrain. Waiting doesn't mean doing nothing. It means continual observation, probing, and readiness so you can strike decisively the moment the enemy weakens. If we take practical, then secure your base, make your own situation hard or impossible for others to exploit. Control the terrain and logistics before the fight begins. Use patience as a weapon. Act only when the odds clearly favor you. Stay adaptable. Arrangements should be solid but flexible enough to exploit sudden opportunities.
Chapter 5. Use of Energy. Use of energy teaches that success in war depends on how effectively a leader uses and manages energy, resources, and morale to maintain continuous strength and momentum. Sun Tzu compares managing an army to controlling the flow of water. It should move smoothly, powerfully, and in the right direction. A wise commander does not rely on brute force alone, but on coordination, timing, and organization to make every action count. He explains that a well-trained and united army can achieve great results with minimal effort because their movements are synchronized and purposeful. Just as musicians play different instruments in harmony, soldiers must act in perfect coordination, guided by clear leadership. When energy and morale are high, small forces can overcome larger ones. Therefore, it is the commander's duty to inspire confidence, maintain discipline, and avoid exhausting the troops before the decisive moment. Sun Tzu also highlights the importance of timing, knowing exactly when to attack, retreat, or change tactics. The right move at the right time multiplies strength, while even great energy used at the wrong moment can lead to defeat. In essence, this chapter teaches that momentum is power. By managing resources wisely, keeping morale strong, and coordinating every action with precision, a leader can transform limited energy into unstoppable force, achieving victory through balance, timing, and unity rather than sheer numbers.
Chapter 6. Weak Points and Strong. Weak points and strong explains how victory often comes from finding and striking the enemy's vulnerabilities while hiding your own strengths and intentions. Sun Tzu teaches that you should never present a predictable face. Show what the opponent expects, then move where they are weakest. By observing the enemy's formations, habits, supply lines, morale, and timing, a leader can identify openings to exploit. At the same time, you must mask your own plans and strengths so the enemy cannot prepare a counter. This chapter also values unpredictability. Change speed, direction, and tactics so the enemy can't read you. Surprise isn't random, it's deliberate, created by misdirection, feints, shifting formations, and varying rhythms of action. When you attack where the enemy is unprepared and avoid where they are strong, you multiply your effectiveness and reduce risk. Practical takeaways. Scout carefully to discover real weak points, logistics, morale, leadership lapses. Conceal intentions, use false signals, feints, or inactivity to mislead the opponent. Strike quickly at exposed spots rather than head-on at strengths. Vary your tactics and timing to remain unpredictable. Reinforce your own weak places quietly so they're not obvious targets. In short, we can say that win by attacking where the enemy is weakest, masking where you are strong, and keeping your moves unpredictable so you control the tempo and shape of conflict.
Chapter 7. Maneuvering. Maneuvering explains how moving armies and coordinating action are the hardest and most decisive parts of fighting. Sun Tzu shows that winning isn't just about where you stand, but how you move, planning routes, keeping supply lines safe, using scouts, and making orders clear so units act together. Good maneuvering depends on discipline. Troops follow plans reliably. Adaptability. Leaders change course when conditions shift. And unity. Everyone understands the goal and timing. A confused or fragmented force loses speed, leaves gaps, and becomes vulnerable to encirclement or surprise. A disciplined, flexible, and well-led force converts movement into opportunity. Practical takeaways. Keep communications short and unambiguous so orders are followed quickly. Use scouts and reconnaissance to choose safe routes and discover enemy movement. Protect logistics. Supplies and lines of retreat are as important as the front line. Train units to react to changing orders so plans can adapt without collapsing. Move in ways that preserve cohesion, avoid overextension and staggered advances that invite attack. Turn maneuvers into traps. Use feints and synchronized strikes to force the enemy into bad positions. In short, we can say that master movement and communication, and your army becomes a single flexible instrument that can seize openings and avoid disaster.
Chapter 8. Variation in Tactics. Variation in tactics teaches that there is no single, unchanging formula for victory. Sun Tzu emphasizes that every situation in war is different, and what succeeds once may fail the next time. A wise commander must therefore remain flexible, observant, and adaptable, adjusting plans and tactics according to the constantly changing conditions on the battlefield. Rigid thinking and predictable strategies make a leader vulnerable. Instead, success comes from understanding timing, terrain, and the opponent's movements, then shifting tactics as needed. Sometimes speed is vital. Other times, patience and defense are wiser. The key is to act according to the moment, not according to habit.
Sun Tzu also warns that leaders who refuse to adapt or who follow rules blindly risk disaster. The best generals are those who know when to change direction, who can recognize opportunity and danger instantly, and who stay calm under uncertainty. In simple terms, that flexibility is strength. Victory belongs to those who can think freely, move with the situation, and make decisions based on what is real, not what is expected.
Chapter 9. The Army on the March focuses on the importance of movement, observation, and logistics in warfare. Sun Tzu teaches that a successful general must constantly study the terrain, monitor the enemy's actions, and pay attention to natural signs in the environment to make wise and timely decisions. By observing how the enemy positions troops, reacts to changes, and manages their supplies, a leader can predict their plans and take advantage of their weaknesses. At the same time, Sun Tzu stresses that logistics, the organization of food, water, weapons, and transportation, is the lifeline of any army. A well-supplied and carefully guided army can march safely, avoid ambushes, and stay strong for battle, while poor planning leads to exhaustion and defeat. In short, this chapter teaches that a wise commander achieves victory through constant awareness, secure supply lines, and intelligent movement, turning careful observation into strategic advantage. Chapter 10. Terrain. Terrain emphasizes the vital role that the land and environment play in warfare. Sun Tzu teaches that a commander's success depends not only on understanding the enemy, but also on mastering the terrain on which the battle is fought. He categorizes terrain into 6 types: accessible, entangling, temporizing, narrow passes, precipitous heights, and distant ground, each with its own strategic advantages and challenges. A wise leader studies these differences carefully to determine when to advance, when to hold position, and how to use the landscape to control the enemy's movements. By observing the terrain, a commander can protect his troops, create traps for the enemy, and secure positions that maximize strength while minimizing risk. For instance, high ground offers vision and safety, while narrow passes demand careful defense. Likewise, distant ground requires solid logistics to prevent exhaustion and disorganization. In essence, Sun Tzu shows that the land itself can be a powerful ally when used wisely, turning natural features into tools of strategy. A skilled leader therefore uses the environment to gain control, safeguard his forces, and shape the course of battle before it begins.
Chapter 11. The 9 Situations. The 9 Situations explores how different battle conditions and environments demand different strategies. Sun Tzu identifies 9 distinct types of battlegrounds, each presenting unique challenges and opportunities, from dispersive ground, where troops may lose focus and scatter, to desperate ground, where their only choice is to fight for survival. He teaches that a wise leader must recognize the type of ground he is on and adapt his tactics accordingly. In easier situations, leaders must maintain unity and discipline so that soldiers stay focused and do not become careless. In more dangerous or desperate situations, the general must inspire courage, loyalty, and determination, motivating his troops to fight with full strength because their lives and nation depend on it. Sun Tzu emphasizes that success comes not from rigid plans, but from understanding the environment, morale, and mental state of the army. Ultimately, this chapter reminds us that leadership and adaptability are the heart of victory. A skilled commander reads the battlefield like a map of human emotion and physical terrain, adjusting strategies to turn disadvantages into advantages. By doing so, he keeps his army unified, motivated, and ready to act decisively, no matter how difficult the situation. Chapter 12. The Attack by Fire. The attack by fire focuses on using the forces of nature and the environment as strategic tools in warfare.
Sun Tzu explains that elements such as fire, weather, and terrain can be powerful allies if used with precision and foresight. Fire in particular is a weapon that can destroy enemy supplies, create panic, and disrupt formations, but only if it is used wisely and at the right time. Poorly timed or uncontrolled use can harm one's own army, so planning, timing, and awareness of conditions are crucial. Beyond the literal use of fire, Sun Tzu extends this idea to psychological warfare, using fear, confusion, and uncertainty to unsettle the enemy's mind. Creating disorder in the opponent's camp can be as effective as a physical attack, as it weakens morale and breaks unity. A calm and calculating leader knows how to apply pressure strategically, striking when the enemy is most vulnerable. In essence, this chapter teaches that true mastery lies in using every available element, natural or psychological, to your advantage. Victory is not achieved through brute strength alone, but through intelligent use of the environment, precise timing, and psychological insight that turns chaos into control.
Chapter 13. The Use of Spies. The use of spies concludes the art of war by emphasizing that intelligence is the foundation of all successful strategy. Sun Tzu teaches that a wise general must always seek accurate and timely information about the enemy's plans, strengths, and weaknesses. Knowledge allows a leader to act with confidence, avoid danger, and strike at the right moment. Without information, even the strongest army can be misled or trapped. Sun Tzu identifies 5 types of spies, each serving a unique purpose. Local spies gather details about the terrain and people in the area. Inward spies are recruited from within the enemy's ranks, providing insider knowledge. Converted spies are enemy agents who have been turned to serve your cause. Doomed spies are sent with false information to mislead the opponent, even if they are captured. Finally, surviving spies complete their mission and return safely to deliver critical intelligence. Together, these spies create a web of information that helps a general control the flow of knowledge and perception in war. Sun Tzu insists that all warfare is based on deception, misleading the enemy while gaining true insight yourself. Information, when used wisely, saves lives and resources by allowing victory without unnecessary conflict. In short, this chapter teaches that intelligence is as powerful as any weapon, and a brilliant leader wins through awareness, secrecy, and the precise use of information rather than brute force.
Philosophical insights. Victory without battle. Sun Tzu teaches that the most skillful strategy is to achieve success without engaging in destructive conflict. The goal is to outthink the opponent, undermine their plans, and achieve objectives through intelligence, negotiation, or diplomacy rather than bloodshed. True mastery is winning with minimal loss and disruption. The balance of yin and yang. Leadership requires both flexibility and firmness. Flexibility, yin, allows adoption to changing circumstances, while firmness, yang, provides structure, authority, and decisive action. A good leader knows when to yield and when to assert, maintaining harmony between action and restraint. Inner discipline. A general or leader must maintain a calm and focused mind, especially in chaos. Emotional control, patience, and clarity of thought allow leaders to make the best decisions under pressure and see opportunities where others see only danger.
Modern applications. Business strategy. Companies apply Sun Tzu's principles to gain competitive advantage. This includes analyzing competitors, timing product launches, managing resources efficiently, and positioning the company in the market for maximum impact. Leadership. Effective leaders in any field rely on decisiveness, empathy, adaptability, and planning. Sun Tzu's teachings highlight the importance of inspiring loyalty, understanding people, and making informed decisions. Negotiation. In negotiations, the principles of the art of war guide leaders to understand the other party's motives, anticipate reactions, and act at the right time. Strategic timing, psychological insight, and subtle influence often achieve better results than direct confrontation. Sports and personal growth. The text teaches preparation, focus, discipline, and resilience. Athletes, coaches, and individuals use these lessons to train mentally and physically, adapt to challenges, and perform under pressure. In conclusion, I would like to say that the art of war remains timeless because it is about more than just military conflict. It teaches self-mastery, strategic thinking, and insight into human nature. Its lessons apply to life, business, leadership, negotiations, and personal growth. Sun Tzu's wisdom emphasizes that victory comes from understanding, preparation, and careful action, not from brute force or recklessness. Those who study and apply his principles learn to achieve success efficiently, ethically, and sustainably, making the art of war relevant in every era.